All right, little disclaimer here. I build everything with sticks and stones. I don't use any C# for any of the builds I will be showing. Any of the things are thrown together, and there are likely better ways for them to be constructed. There are lots of tutorials out there for streamer.bot. This is just how I've built mine. Additionally, the entirety of this tutorial was filmed live on Twitch over at twitch.tv/madcapthulu. This means in post, I end up doing a lot of jump cuts and save you a lot of rambling, dead air, and most of my, oh my God, I did that wrong. Well, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. Yar. Okay, so we have gotten a request for two different types of slot machines. First one is here, designated some type of weapon, item, and place. And this one here is doing the classic like 2 in a row or 3 in a row. Let's get to it. Okay, so I have a clean version of streamer.bot right here. So this is one of the images that I used for the original slot machine. I don't even remember where I got it from. I slightly edited it. It's not too hard to find stuff like this. So for our example, we're going to be using this guy. Every time you build something that is necessarily nested, you want to have that nested within something and then placed inside your alert overlay. How nesting works is a totally different video. It's a pretty common practice nowadays. I think you'd be able to figure it out.
What Cap means to say is, "Hi, I'm lazy and not going to go into this right now, and the princess you're looking for is in another castle."
All right, so I'm going to add another break. And this is going to be called nested scene. And this is going to be slot machine. Okay, this is where we're going to do our work. Now, this scene is located inside your alerts. So your nested scene is located inside your alert overlay. And inside your gaming session, you're going to have a scene that is your alert overlay. And then you're going to have like, you know, your camera and stuff. Get rid of the color source. And boom, now when you're in your gaming scene, you get yourself a nice little camera. So first things first. So he said that he wants, we'll pull these variables, the trigger that when triggered will pull up a Fortnite, an area I have to drop in, a gun I have to use. So I'm gonna get like, let's go get 2 pictures of like an area, 2 pictures of an item, and 2 weapons. All right, I got 2 weapons. I just need places other than just a character. Yeah, sure, that looks like a place. All right, so now let's grab some items. For example, we're just gonna use this. We're just gonna use this Nordic-looking pickaxe and this shark-looking pickaxe because I think both of these items are very cool. They look nice. They look nice. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to this nested scene with the slot machine. We need to get all of our images together. Okay. Weapons. New folder, items, and then new folder, places. So this is going to be called RPG. We're going to call this Sniper 1. Places. This is going to be fast food. And this one's going to be called winter. This one's going to be called Nordic. And we're going to call this one spear. Okay, so there's going to be a couple different ways to do this. This is the way that I'm going to recommend. because you could use like an image slideshow to randomly pick an image for you. However, streamer.bot won't know exactly what it is that it's picking. Okay, slot machine. All right, so this is going to be a very tedious part, but I promise it'll be worth it later. So, weapon, a 1, sniper, 1. All right. We have a weapon reel, we're going to have an item reel, and we're going to have a place reel. Let's go ahead and add text GDI for it. Reel 1 text. Weapon. Select font. We're going to do Franklin Gothic because we are civilized human beings. I assume I already know how to do. And your organization will probably be a lot better. Place. Go ahead and lock those. And I'm even going to take these and I'm going to put them in a group so I don't ever see them ever again. Just gone. All right, let's add the second item. Weapon underscore 02 underscore, and I called that Nordic? No. RPG. So a neat thing that you can do is once you have like an item set, because you're going to probably have a lot of these. So what you can do is you can actually right click on it and do transform, copy transform. And then on your new item, you can right click and do transform, paste transform. And then it will fit within those exact bounds that you've already specified. So they'll just overlay on top of each other. And these are both going to go underneath the overlay. So we're just going to put them under there and just leave them for now. Now let's work on the items. So this is going to be item underscore 01. And that was what? Nordic. All right. Image. Item underscore 02. And this one is called spear. And yes, if you're going to have, 50 different weapons, you're going to have to do this for 50 different items. Paste transform. Oh, that did not work. Well, it was close. It's got some extra border. We're just going to make it fit. That's what she said. Okay. Oh, God. Thanks. What did I call it? Winter? Let's add another one. Image. Place. Underscore 02. Fast food. Yeah. Yeah, the sun is brutal. Okay, and we're going to put all of these on the bottom. So we've got our weapons, our items, and our places. Now, you're going to use the randomizer to turn these on. And they just pop in. But you could do a neat thing where you could actually set the show transform to slide. And when it's shown, you can have it go down direction. And when it's hidden again, you can have it slide and go down. Something that's very similar, or that I actually use on my slot machine. And that is wherever it is in here. So you see how the reels are spinning like that, right? It's actually just an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's literally a video file. It's just a video file that I made. That's it. It's a looping video, and then it makes the image turn on behind this looping video. So then when streamer.bot tells it to turn off, it just reveals the image that's underneath it. Now, making a video is not always the easiest thing for people to do, and I recognize that. So what if you have some sort of video animation that maybe you could grab from somewhere else? There's a lot of free sources out there. Okay, we could use this. This light wall, large, random checker pattern, okay? So I'm just going to add this video file in here. It's not horribly big. It's 7.29 megabytes. So I don't mind using 3 of these in this build. Is it the most effective? No. I imagine you could probably find a better way to do this, though. So I'm going to add in media scene, and we're going to call this Reel 1 Hider. Loop, close when inactive. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and we're just going to put it right there. Then we'll put it underneath the overlay. Huzzah. All right, so that is really annoying. So we're just going to turn that off for now. Let's go ahead and add another one. So you can't really, you want them to be named differently. That is kind of important with streamer.bot. Because if you just make duplicates of the same one, it has a hard time differentiating which one is which. So if I did this guy right here, I did a copy, and then I did a paste reference. So it's actually the exact same name, and it wouldn't be able to tell which one is which. I think at one point it actually did work where you could pick from either or, and it would just pick the second one if you picked the second one in the list. So just to be safe, we are going to add another video. Do the same thing we did with the other one. And let's do it one more time. Reel 3 Hider. Okay, so when they're all on, it'll look something like this. And then you'll have like, it'll go bink, bink, and then bink. And then it'll go boop, boop, boop. So you're gonna use the sniper rifle, the Nordic pickaxe, and you're gonna go to the fast food place. Charlie, calm down. So now what we got to do is we got to build, say, even if you had 10 different weapons, like as long as you're naming them properly, it makes the next part a lot easier. The random light thing that you're using to hide the real results, what about it? Could I just have it phase out? Yeah, of course. So instead of it just popping, absolutely. That's actually a good question. All right, so Ghost was saying to have it phase out. I mean, I don't think about this stuff because it's relatively easy to do. You just go to hide transition and go to fade. You just do that for each one of these. So now whenever you want it to disappear, it kind of fades out a little bit. Look at that. Whoops. Easy. All you gotta do is go to each of these and right click and add them in. So this whole machine right here, since we properly nested it, we put this inside the alert overlay. So now this whole thing can be moved wherever you want it. Okay, so we have the slot machine here. but it's nested inside the alert overlay. Using streamer.bot, you'll likely set up a myriad of different alerts and whatnot that you'll use while you're actually playing a game or doing your just chatting or whatever. So during a gaming session, you can actually have this alert show up in the middle of your screen. And it's all nested. You want it to be in a different spot? You can do that. You can set it up so it's just over here. When you're in your gaming scene, you want to keep this this overlay. You want to keep this full screened. That way you can kind of determine where you want all of your other stuff to go. But as far as your placement inside the nested alert window itself, ideally this is where you're going to want to move stuff around. Let's say we want it right here in the where I currently have my slot machine, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's do that. We're going to have it actually attached to the bottom, but not the left. So a neat thing you can do with this is, again, whenever it's turned on, you can do a show, slide, have it go up. Because when it's shown, you want it to actually pop up. And then when you hide it, slide down. So now whenever we use this, it's got a nice little teeny tiny animation. Now, you'll notice that as it pops in, you can kind of see what is behind it. Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 frames. What we could do is slow it down to 2 seconds. Let's do that. That'll actually fix it because it'll have more time to load. So now, much slower, pop in and out. Easy fix. Now keep in mind that this is also what it looks like when you're gaming. So using streamer.bot, we can use that now to make and control all of these visuals. So let's go ahead and go back to the overlay and go ahead and turn this off. Time to bring up the streamer.bot. So let me get this connected to the right server. It's currently connected to
set sail, lads.
My current build. So we're going to make this 4466. No authentication. Enable. Now you won't have to do this. Yours is going to stay at 4455. This is just because I have another OBS running. I'm not even sure if 4466 is a good port or not. But we're just going to apply an OK and hope for the best. So that means whenever we go in to look at the channel point rewards, you're going to see all of the stuff that I've got in there. So let's add a new one. We're going to call it like randomize my run. Gonna make it cost 1 bajillion. Do not press this button. So this is gonna be something that you're gonna have to turn on manually. I'm not sure how you want to trigger it. If you want to trigger it where you're the only one that triggers it, I guess that makes sense. If you want to use like a Stream Deck or Touch Portal or something like that. If you've got like an extra phone or tablet laying around that you're not using. Both of these have plug-in support for a streamer.bot. So what we're going to want is we're going to want an action that will start this. It doesn't matter how you trigger it. You can have it triggered through a donation, have it triggered through channel point, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to call this begin spin. Group, we're going to make a new group for it. We're going to call it slot machine. For the queue, we don't have any queue set up. Wow, I actually have one here. We'll just leave it as default right now, which is a blocking queue. But I do recommend actually just setting everything into a queue. Action queues. Queues. Add. We're going to call it slot machine queue. It's going to be a blocking queue. So double click this and we're going to call it slot machine queue. Now, honestly, this is probably your initiator is probably going to be start of your blocking queue, because you're not going to want it to trigger whenever you're like somebody subscribes to your channel. That blocking queue is to make sure that, you know, the subscription does its full animation, its text, all of its alerts and sound. And then once it's finished, it moves to the next thing in the blocking queue. Well, you don't, unless you don't care, it will keep things from stacking and running at the same exact time. The first thing it's going to do is we're just going to go ahead and do all of the animations right now. So we have the images in there, and you also are probably going to want your text somewhere on screen, which means you're probably going to need to set you're going to need to set a variable, and you're going to need to turn on the image. So essentially what you're going to want is you're going to want to, I wouldn't even mess with begin spin yet. We're going to add spin reel 1, and it's going to be that sniper 1. So group slot machine queue. I'm going to actually make another queue that is unblocked, because there's a lot of things that are going to need to take place that you don't want it to be slowed down at all. Unblocked. Okay. So this queue is currently unblocked. Now for this, what we're going to do is we're going to set OBS source, set source visibility. And you're going to pick that slot machine and slot 1 sniper. So this is going to be made visible. What we're also going to do is we're going to set a variable. So this is going to be core. We can actually set an argument this way. So arguments and globals are important. Global, say you want to set a number that is then called upon at a very later date, you're going to want to save it as a global. If you're wanting to save something in one equation and after that equation is complete, you no longer need it, you can probably just use an argument. We're going to name this reel 1 weapon underscore arg. Now, you want to make sure that you don't start this with a capital and you don't start it with a number.
And that's because some people on the internet that were much, much smarter than Madcap Thulu,
I don't know. I just wouldn't.
Said so.
You probably can. Just don't start it with a capital letter. So we're going to save this variable to the name of this weapon, which is going to be sniper. It's whatever the name of the gun actually is that you want to be displayed in chat. But it needs to be one solid word. So if you have any spaces in it, there needs to be underscores. But this can have capital letters in it. So let's say it's sniper underscore 50 dot caliber. That should be a good value to pull up later. If not, we will learn together. So we're going to make a duplicate real quick of this because we've already created what it needs to do. We're going to rename it to whatever that other item was, which was RPG, also unblocked. So we're going to make it turn the RPG item on, and we're not going to change this at all. This is the argument that we're going to pull up later whenever we output the text of what it is. And you'll also be able to call upon this with if-then values. Should we need to store it into a global, or no, wouldn't even need to store it into a global. You can literally just do if this value equals this. Like if it's a unique weapon, you want it to make a special sound, you can do that. So whatever the name of this RPG is, call it RPG 5000, whatever. Okay, so these two are here. Now let's go ahead and do the second reel. Spin reel 2. And this is going to be Nordic. Q unblocked. So anyway, same deal. You know, we're going to actually way to ram that into the conversation. All right, check this out. We're actually going to just duplicate this again. Double click to rename spin reel 2. And it's going to be Nordic. Or no, wait, it's not. Oh yeah, item 1. Or what we can actually do here to keep these together. Let's rename this so they'll actually, because they will, or I guess we got reel 1, so I don't need to type in that it's a weapon. It's fine, never mind. All right, so Necessine, item 1 Nordic. We're going to call it Nordic Pickaxe. And that's some serious BS. Sorry, I'm trying to do a YouTube video at the same time here. Yeah, how dare you interrupt? Dare. Enjoy a good lift, brother. Thanks for popping in. No. Ah, God, it still works. Why?
What you've just witnessed is a flashbang, an effect that Madcap Thulu has live on his channel that turns on an overhead light, sending 2800 lumens directly into his eyeballs. We have theorized that due to its overuse, he should be blind by 2026.
Thanks. All right, so this is actually reel number 2. It's not a weapon argument. It's an item. Reel 2 item arg. Nordic pickaxe. All right. So we've got the item picked. We've got the reel number 2 item argument. And then it's called Nordic pickaxe. That's like the friendly name. We're just going to duplicate this. Reel 2, and then the next one is the spear pickaxe. Let's set it for spear. So argument stays the same because it's already in reel reel number 2. So this is going to be speared shark underscore pickaxe. All right, now we got to do the third one. So we're just going to duplicate this again. We're going to have to change a few things though. It's reel 3, and this is going to be winter. Winter. So this is going to be reel 3 place argument. We're going to call it Winter Wonderland. We're going to duplicate it again. So this last one is fast food. Also unblocked. Make sure it's on the right one. Fast food. Makes it visible. And this is going to be called Hungry Harry's Fast Food. I don't know what it's called. So we got the 3 reels. So now whenever we begin the spin, first thing that's going to happen is we're going to do an OBS source, set source visibility state. And we've got the alert overlay. So remember, we have to make it show up. So it's going to make this show up. Now, if I were to test this, it brings it up. So again, you saw it pop up over here. Now, as you can see, there's some transparency there, but let's go fix that real quick. Quick way to do this would be to just add a color source, and they just put that at the very back. And now, whenever you're here, now it has the black background. All right, so we're making the spin. We made it show up. It takes roughly about 2 seconds for it to show up, so we're going to do something that's commonly done with this. I'm going to give it a 2-second delay, 200 milliseconds. So 2000 ms is 2 seconds. We need the blinders on. So let's do that first. Source, set source visibility state. Slot machine. So this is real one hider. We're going to turn that on. Duplicate, duplicate. Real 3 hider. And I'm testing on it just so they're turned on. So we want all of this to happen at the same time that this guy up here is actually being turned on. So I'm going to make it where it's like, it turns all of these on, and then it turns this on. Now, theoretically, these all happen at the same time. And it should be good because it takes 2 seconds for it to load up. I assume that if you're going to be using some sort of video or animation, that it's a much smaller thing than a 1080p video. There are ways to get like a video converted into like an animated GIF, or what I prefer to use is either MP4s at 720p, or you can actually shrink them down into WebMs, which are alpha layer friendly. So say you have a .mov file, like an Apple file, that has an alpha layer that you want to keep the transparency for. You can run move files in OBS, but if you get to the point where my stream's at, you're going to have a lot. It does tend to bog down the system quite a bit. So I prefer the 720p MP4s or the PEGs. Not MPEG, WebM. Okay, so we got the 2-second delay. All of these are turned on. Now we need to run the slot. We're going to run a group here. We're going to rename this. So this is going to be real one. It's the real one, not the fake one. Let's go ahead and do the action. We're going to run these actions that are sitting over here. Core action, run action. So this run action immediately, when I first started using streamer.bot, I had no idea how this worked. It's very important. A run action immediately means that streamer.bot stops everything that it's doing, and it immediately runs that action within the capsulation of the other action it's placed in. So if you need to run an equation to get a variable that's meant for the rest of the equation, that's how you're going to do it. If I were to not have this checked, it will run everything that's inside this sub action and then run this action. You don't want that. Not if you're using it as part of another action. If you're doing something where it's like do this and then do this, once you're done with this, then that's when you would not use run immediately. Okay, so we're going to have this run action immediately. We're going to do the spin real one RPG, and we are going to put this inside this group. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate it, and I'm going to switch it over to the other one because that's a quick way to do it. You can just add them as you need. Now, real one, you don't want it to both select the RPG and the sniper at the same time. Okay, so for real one, you're going to do this neat little thing, random. So when it picks one of these two, it's going to be. It's just only. It only picks one. Okay, it's important. Let's make another group. All right, so run action Nordic. Put it inside the new group. We're going to rename this group Real 2. Just going to duplicate this. Spirit. Okay. All right, now we're going to make another group. Rename Real 3. Core action, run action. Fast food. Oh, we went with winner first, so let's stay with that. Put it inside. Make sure there's random on both of these. Duplicate this last action. It duplicates inside the group itself. And then change it over to the other item, or in this case, fast food restaurant. So what we've got here is it turns all the hiders on, which is these blinding lights. It makes the image visible, brings the whole thing up. Waits for 2 seconds, gives it time to populate up here. It's going to go ahead and pick like RPG, and then like it's only going to pick one of these. So you can have like 50 different actions in here. It's only going to pick one of them. Theoretically, it should equally choose between all of them unless you start setting weights. If you want something to appear more often, then you can set a weight. Think of it as setting a percentage base.
Editor here again, going to save you from this. Cap goes on to try and explain this in detail, when in reality, it's quite easy to understand. Bigger number equals higher chance.
Now remember, it's running this inside and immediately. So it comes down here and it runs RPG. So inside RPG, it sets this to visible. So it shows the RPG, and then it sets the argument for real one arg to that name. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that over here. We're gonna do a Twitch, and we're gonna do a chat. Send message to channel. So it's gonna say %user, say if it's redeemed by somebody, spun the slot machine, and the results are, and it'll be like weapon equals, and then you would do the %real one weapon arg, and then item equals %real two item underscore arg. At least I think that's what we had it set to. And then the third one is going to be place equals %real three place underscore arg. And then we'll have something cheeky like good luck. Okay, so it's going to post that to chat after all of this is set. Now, unless you're on fiber and everybody that's watching you is also on fiber, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to see the text message before they see what's on screen. So it's important to throw yourself in here like a 5,000 ms delay. At least give yourself that 5-second delay so they can get the satisfaction of seeing it on screen before it's in your chat. If you're anything like me, where your connection is always dog dookie, you can give it yourself like a 7-second delay. Now, it's not actually showing these yet. So what we could do, there's a couple ways we could do this, is we could set up the hider. Let's duplicate the hider one. We're going to double click it. We're going to change it to actually hide the hider. and we're going to put it right here. So it's picking what this is. So we say it picked the RPG, and then we're going to hide slot 1. Now, to make it a little bit more dramatic, we're going to add in another delay. We're just going to throw in a 1-second delay. Now, usually it'll put this at the bottom, but if you've got it selected in the right spot, it'll put it right where you created it. So let's go ahead and duplicate this for the others as well. Yeah, when you duplicate it, usually it'll drop it down to the very bottom. So you want this after reel 2, but you don't want... So this might happen. You don't want it as part of the random. You want it to be outside of that. So we can just bring it down here. See how the difference right there? You want it to be outside of this little guy right here. So you can actually collapse them. I'm going to duplicate this guy. I'll do it one more time for the last one. I guess this last one doesn't matter because of the 7-second delay. We'll just leave it there for cosmetic purposes. Now remember that this reel 1, reel 2, and reel 3, we still need to change this. So we'll actually need to change this to the reel 2 hider. And this one to the reel 3 hider. All right, so now it'll go through and it will pick your reel 1, pick your reel 2, pick your reel 3. Every second it will reveal the next step. Let's go ahead and do a test run, okay? You can do this by doing just a simple test up here. You can use a username. I'll just do madcapthilo. And test value, there really isn't a value. And just do 0. So we're just going to test the trigger. So it's actually going through and it picked each one. Huzzah! Now we don't have anything to make it go away yet. All right, so we got it to actually come out with this right here. Didn't do the user right. That's on me. So weapon, RPG 5000, item equals speared shark pickaxe, and place equals winter wonderland. And you'll notice that that actually lines up with what we have here. Pretty neat. So we need something that's going to kind of reset. Let's do a delay. So that'll be on screen for like 10 seconds. That'll be 10,000 ms. And then we're actually going to set up an action that will go through and it'll turn all of these off. Is this the best way to do it? No. Is it the way that I have chose to do things? Yes. So I call it reset reels. It's part of the slot machine group, and it is also unblocked. So what this does is it's going to come through and it's going to undo every single possibility that you could have had with the slot machine. So if you've got 10 weapons, 10 items, and 30 places, you're literally going to have to put in 50 sub actions in this thing. And it's just going to go through and it's just going to turn them all off. Like I said, is it the best method? No. There are other ways to do this, but I'm not covering that right now. All right. So, in my opinion, the best way to do this is just add one of them, and then you go through and change it to each item. And just put them in order that you originally had them. That way, you can kind of keep track of stuff. Duplicate. So this one was actually enter, then duplicate, and then fast food. Now, we don't need to worry about turning the covers back on, because the beginning of the action is actually the one that's turning them on. So we can just need the reset reels to turn all of these back off. Oh yeah, they actually need to be hidden as well, because we're turning the source off. If you were watching me do this and yelling at me the whole time, all right, so that turns them all back off. And then we can just throw in like that action there. Reset reels. So in order for when this disappears, it actually takes 2 seconds to slide off the screen, right? So let's actually accommodate for that. So let's turn this delay into 8,000. And let's add another delay for 2,000. And right in the middle of that, because we want it to disappear before it makes the images go away, we're going to, remember how it made this visible? We're going to copy that. We're going to put this right in between those two, and we're going to make it hide the machine. So the first test that we're going to run, it's not going to have those things disappear. Or did it? I don't know. So it's actually going to go through the whole session here. It's going to be on screen for 10 seconds. It's going to go away. Right. All right, let's try it again. Test trigger, sniper rifle, shark pickaxe, and winter wonderland. So you can see that one of them changed. This is going to be, it was the RPG last time. Remember, it takes 5 seconds for it to show up. So this time it says it's the sniper 50 cal. Huzzah. And don't forget, you can make this thing a little bit fancier. You can throw in some sound effects. Core sounds. Play sound. Yeah, that works. That's much better. Duplicate. Duplicate. All right, so when it actually reveals, it will actually make the little noise here. So I put that right underneath where it says to make the hider hidden. Okay, so let's go through and we'll try it again. Does it care? I think if the value is Madcap Thulu, it'll actually use that for the name. I don't know, we'll see. So we're going to test. Beautiful. We got the sniper rifle, Nordic pickaxe at the fast food restaurant. And then over here, it still didn't do the user, right? Oh, well, that's on me. So weapon equals the sniper, the Nordic pickaxe, and Hungry Harry's fast food.
Congratulations, you've made one of 2 different types of slot machine that could be used. Normally someone would just say, subscribe, and watch the next video for part 2, and just make an entirely new video. But Cap is not this type of person. Let's continue.
To extend upon what we already have, I'm going to go back to the slot machine here. We're going to turn off this text group. I may end up having to kind of rebuild the current slot machine that I have built already. And I'm not talking about this simple one. I'm talking about mine. I'm going to take a look at it and see how complicated it is real quick. I know it's very complicated, but my slot machine is currently 48 actions. So I have like a currency system in my stream that it has to kind of like check for and does some reads for. That's what this point gamble is. All the rest of this is literally fluff to kind of like make it look good. This guy right here, this is the slot machine that's on my stream. This is my current version of streamer.bot. And this slot machine currently holds 48 actions. It works by using 3 different reels and has 8 different symbols. It is a 1 payline type machine, which means they all have to land in the thing, but it always picks a symbol. It doesn't pick like a half symbol or a negative symbol. So it'll always give you 3 of something. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will pay anything. This is the primary action right here that gets used by slot, gamble, spin, and it will go through. It'll first turn the machine on. This turns the machine on in a different scene. Not important. This is the first initial slot start, like pulling the machine right here. That's what that is. Are you going to get 3 right now? Nope. Slot machine reels, GDI 2, hidden. This is what hides. Currently, you'll see that the times 6 is up there. That's what this does. So it'll hide whatever the last spin was. All right. So as it starts up, that was just like resetting from the last spin. Action, slot machine, reel, reset. So inside the reel reset, what it does is it comes through and it turns off every single possible outcome that could show up on any of the reels. So I said there was like 8 or 7. Yeah, there's 8. So 8 and 8 and 8. And I'll just turn them all off. And then it will start into the spin. Now, this is an action that runs on the random, similar to how I was showing with the other slot machine, because this is exactly how I've also built mine. Now I have multiple actions that will set the name of the symbol, which is, ahoy, Charlie, clone, diver. So this will set the image visible and then sets the argument of slot 1 to ahoy. So it will go through and we now have, depending on what lands on slot 1 set to clone, slot 1 set to coin, slot 1 set to diver. So it'll go through and it'll pick one of these. So say it picks Gibbs. It'll roll this. It'll show the Gibbs image. It'll set the argument slot 1 to the word Gibbs. Okay. It'll go through on reel 2 and it'll do the same thing. It'll go through on reel 3 and do the same thing. Now, so the interesting thing is that it's actually already decided the outcome before the viewer or anybody that's watching the slot machine knows. And that's just how slot machines work in general, in my understanding anyway. The reset up here, after it's reset, it turns these on, okay? I'm going to turn each one of these on, and you'll see that it will start spinning. So it's already picked all 3 of what the outcome is going to be. Then it's going to come through here, and it's going to actually hide one of them. So it looks like it stopped on the coin, and it makes a little noise. And then it's going to go through, and it's going to do the second one. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because if you've ever played a slot machine before, you'll know that if you have two matching symbols, sometimes the machine starts to spool up and get all fancy, and it'll be like, oh, he's gonna get something. So it does like a little magical thing. So what this does is it runs an if statement. Logic if slot 1 equals slot 2, then do the action that says, hey, these first two match. Otherwise, just continue. So in this instance where they don't match, it would just go through and it would go to the next one, and it'll test, and it'll see that you'll see that the last two match. Now this is atypical of slot machines, where if you have two that match, they have to be in the first two reels. But in my slot machine specifically, as long as you get two that match, it'll still reward you like a partial prize. So this Z reward anything 2x is saying that if anything is on the board at all that matches, go ahead and reward them for that. So in this case, it actually has two ahoys that are matching, so it's going to run Z reward anything 2x. So if slot 1 does not equal slot 2, which it technically it wouldn't, it gets really messy here. I'll just be like, through the magic of editing, this is all going to make sense now.
Editor here again. Unfortunately, no one can make sense of the next 20 minutes, so we've decided to omit it completely. Please enjoy the remainder of the video where he starts to make sense again. Kind of.
In theory, if you're not doing partial rewards, which I would not recommend unless you understand how this is really working and how the if and then clauses work. We're going to rebuild this for what we need now. So I'm going to rename weapon to real1G. We're going to rename this weapon, rename to real01 sniper. I'm just going to take that one off the end because I don't like it. Rename the spear into real01 spear. And I'm just going to get rid of the rest of these items. So now spear is on line 2, but we're going to fix that. We're going to put that over here on real 1 now. So what we've got is we've got the spear, the gun, and the RPG. Okay. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do this again for real number 2. So I'm going to do a copy, and we're going to do paste duplicate. I'm going to do a copy of the sniper. We're going to do paste duplicate. We're going to do a copy of the spear, paste duplicate. Now we're going to come through here and we're going to rename this. So this is going to be real 2. Rename real 2 sniper, real 2 spear. Let's go ahead and turn these on and move them over. And we're going to lock them in place and we're going to move them down. And then we're going to make those invisible, and then we're going to do the same thing again for real 3. Copy. Paste duplicate. Copy. Paste duplicate. Copy. Paste duplicate. The rename to real 3. All right, turn these on and move all of these over here. And then we'll just move them down here. Okay, so now we have our slot machine with multiple items. You got real 1, boom, boom, boom. Say you could get 3 RPGs in a row. Let's make them line up. So the RPG, and then sniper, and then spear. Now, what we're going to do is we can use this same layout, essentially, and build a different type of slot machine, which is what our good friend BP originally requested. All right, so we've got real 1. We're going to delete Nordic, delete spear, delete fast food, and delete winter. So real 1 RPG. Now keep in mind that we renamed these, so we need to go back through and pick their names. So that's called RPG. And we're just going to name this real1 underscore RPG. Yep. Now its value is going to be very similar to the actual variable name. And we're just going to call it RPG. And you'll see why we're going to oversimplify this later. Sniper 1. So we're in the right thing. We're on real 1, so real 1 sniper. We're going to actually rename this guy right here. Like I said, I don't want to look at 1 because we don't have any other sniper rifles. For the other example, it was going to be like, oh, you probably have 10 different types of snipers. So it's going to be like sniper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. And then properly name them with a friendly name. Well, here we're really only using the 1. So there's no purpose in having the 1 there. It just overcomplicates things because we're going to have real 1, real 2, real 3. All right, so we've got real 1 sniper visible, and we're going to name this whatever we use the same name for this. Oh, actually, this is just going to be real 1, and then the value is going to be RPG. So this is also going to be just real 1. And then value sniper. Okay. So we're going to duplicate this. And this one's called spear. And this one's going to be change real 1 to spear. Make sure that the image that it changes it to is the real 1 spear. Okay. Easy peasy, right? All right, so now we just need to duplicate that for the other reels. Huzzah, super fun stuff. That's going to be 2 RPG. RPG. This is going to be real 2 RPG. Imagine. I'm going to take sniper, duplicate, make that a 2. Get rid of the word copy. So source is real 2 sniper. And then real 2 sniper. Spear, duplicate. Real 2. Okay, and now number 3. Duplicate. Real 3 RPG. Real 3 sniper. And then spear, duplicate. This is supposed to be real 3 spear. Okay. So now we've made a real 1, real 2, and real 3 for our different items. Our reset reels are going to need to get very different. So this should be We'll duplicate. Make sure you get all the reals. I know you're thinking, wow, this is a lot of work for something. And it is. Sometimes you gotta work for what you want. It's not overly complicated. At least I don't think so. But I've also been doing this a lot, so okay, so begin spin. We're going to use essentially the same stuff that we've already written. Now, you're noticing that some of these actions are just not valid, disabled, because we deleted them. That's okay. All we need to do is we need to make this one do all of the real ones, this one all of the real twos, and this one all of the real threes. So we're just going to have to duplicate. If you duplicate inside of a randomized group or any type of group, it will put that back. It'll put it inside that group, which is great. RPG Sniper Spear. So we just double click on that. We've got RPG, Sniper, duplicate, Spear, all real twos. And here's our real three. RPG, Sniper, duplicate, Spear. All right, just like that, we've already got a slot machine that will do those three actions. So let's take a look at what happens. Ta-da! So this one, we still have that long timer in there. So let's actually drop that timer. Let's make it like 3 seconds for the purposes of this video. So right now, whenever you get 3 in a row, it's not going to matter. But that's where the naming that we did earlier is going to make a difference. Because we're not just putting information into chat. Now you can. Oh, it's putting stuff into chat, but that's not what we wanted. What we would want is user spun the slot machine. The results are, and it would be percent real 1, percent real 2, and percent real 3. So now when we test it, I should say Spear, RPG, RPG. Spear, RPG, RPG. There we go. So now what we could do is we can start using some if-then. And we can get interesting results with this. So we're going to do this name 2 match. And we're going to name it. It's also going to be part of the slot machine. And the queue is going to be unblocked. So this is going to trigger if the first 2 match. The only thing it's going to do right now, though, because that's going to be part of a different video. If you wanted to actually do something, you'll be able to follow a different tutorial to figure out how to start making this do other connections to other parts of whatever streamer.bot medley of whatever you've built. Twitch. Send message to channel. There we go. All right. So if 2 match, it'll be like percent user got 2% real 1 in a row. Congrats. Here is a tissue as a prize. Okay. So that's like they got the first 2 right. Oh my gosh, we got 3 in a row. Look at that. 3 snipers in a row. And that was completely random. Why does it do real 3? What happened there? Spear. Ah, didn't change that. Real 3 sniper. Real 3, real 3, real 3, real 2, real 2, real 2. 1, 1, and 1. Sometimes I also make mistakes. You get 2 in a row. You want it to have a special, unique thing. We did the 2 match where it's like, hey, user got 2 whatever in a row. Now it's just pulling real 1 because obviously if 1 matches 2, if you just say real 1, like sniper, then it'll just say that. Now nothing is linked to it currently because our spin does not have any type of if-then clauses. So another thing that we need to do is where we see how I'm using %user. We need to get the information from who used this. User. Add user info for target, I believe. Yeah. And then it's user. Source type is user. And then it will do add target info from who redeemed. This is the one that you want like pretty much anytime you're creating like an action. That way it won't actually say just user. So it'll do whoever redeemed it. So we're going to put that right there at the top whenever the spin begins. We're going to actually make this a channel point redeem. We're going to call it spin the slot machine. And then we're going to have it cost 10. But we're going to make the cooldown, I don't know, 30 seconds. Okay? So we can work on this while chat is essentially doing stuff. So now chat is in control. They can actually spin this button now. Spin the slot machine. Okay, doesn't do anything yet. It's not linked. So channel point reward. It's going to be channel reward redemption. We're just going to put that on the spin the slot machine. Okay. So now anytime somebody does this, it's going to go through and it's going to actually spin it. Ta-da! And it also says Madcap Thulu spun the slot machine, and the results are sniper, 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 or sniper, spear, sniper. Okay, cool. Now, if the first 2 match, that means that the first or all 3 of them could also match. So what happens when we do this is we need to make sure that when this gets to this portion, we're going to do a logic check. We're going to do a if else. Now we're setting real 1. So if real 1 equals real 2, which since it's a value, it actually requires that percentage sign, which makes things more complicated, but that's just the world we live in. Because the variable, it's already being said that it's a variable, so we don't need the percentage. The value is not yet identified as a variable. So you have to say the value is this variable. And early on, when doing this kind of stuff, it takes a long time for your brain to understand what in the hell I just said. At least it did for me, but that also might be personal reasons. So if these two equal each other, you can actually have it do the 2 match. Okay, so if real 1 equals real 2, do action 2 match. What happens when 2 match? Well, the first 2 can match if also all 3 just match. So we need to make sure that we need to make another action called 3 match. And we're going to also make it unblocked. And when 2 match gets rolled, we need to do another core global, I'm sorry, not global, logic if variable real 1 equals real 3, because we already know real 1 equals real 3, we got to use the percentage signs again on this one. And then we can do action 3 match. We also need it to break. Now this needs to run before that text happens, because we don't want it to say, hey, you got 2 in a row, and then it also be like, hey, you got 3 in a row. We don't want it to do that. We're just going to copy this right here. We're going to put this in here, but paste. And the user got 3 real 1 in a row. Congrats. Here is $1 million. That's pretty awesome. Okay. So this is the very simple 3 need to match. Or you can get 2 in a row. 2 in a row or 3 in a row. Those are your outcomes. Otherwise, it does nothing. Should be like a 1 and a 9. 3 times 3 times 3. 1 in 27 chance. Yeah. Thanks. All right, so we're going to cheat the system. So we're going to make it RPG. We're just going to add the weight to RPG weight 2. RPG weight 2. So it should make it RPG most of the time. Yeah. Madcap Thulu got 3 in a RPG in a row. Congrats. Here's 1 million. That's pretty awesome. Scorba got 2 RPG in a row. Congrats. Here's a tissue as a prize. And I didn't get rid of the third thing that quick. Did it reset reels? Did it not? RPG, sniper, and spear hidden. Did I not give it enough time to... What? The weight is so heavy on the RPGs, and yet it still didn't do RPGs again? I think it needs more time to breathe. But yeah, that's essentially working. It needs a little bit more breathing time in between the thing there. Oh, let's go ahead and see what it looks like during the whole screen here. We've just been on the actual nested thing for that. So begin spin. So one thing you want to do is you kind of want to check here how many seconds you've got. You got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you got 13 seconds. All right. So let's make sure that our actual reset here is for at least the amount of time to give it. So let's put it to 15 seconds. Not cost 15. So now it should be fine. It'll give it enough time to do all the stuff. So let's see what it looks like fully in action. So it'll actually pop up. Hey, I got 3 in a row. Why is it not going away? What did I forget to do? Oh, it's doing break. Okay, hold up. So if 3 match, let's see. Do 3 match, then break. We don't actually want it to break. We want it to just continue. So instead of having it break, because what'll happen if we have it go through the spin, say it'll do 2 match, and then no. It would, but right now it's just breaking because I'm having it. It's like, oh, you got 2. All right, do the 2 action and then break. So what we're going to do is we're going to rip away this ending part and put it in its own action. A quick and easy way to do that is to just duplicate the entire thing. End spin. And we're going to get rid of the trigger. And we're going to get rid of delete group. Make sure that did not delete the one over here. Okay, good. Delete group. Delete group. So we're just going to go through and delete the whole first part of this. Now this is the duplicate action. Remember, I made a dupe of the entire thing. Okay. So if we might have to pull this out too. At the end of the 2 match, we need to put in the action. Core run action. End spin. So, and then this will go back to break. Because we don't want it to do all of these actions. So we want it to break away and do the 3 match instead. But if the 3 match, we still need it to do the core action, run action, the end spins. Okay. Now that was just the end of that, the spin thing. What we'll need to do is we'll actually need to pull this out of here now. So add, and we're going to do no match. Q unblocked. So if no match, so for the 2 match, if real 1 equals real 3, do 3 match. We also need at the begin spin, if real 1 equals real 2, do 2 match, then continue. But we don't want that to happen. We're actually going to have it break. Else condition, do action, no match. And then break. So it's going to break either way. So anything that's after this doesn't matter. We put everything in its own separate little spot. Okay. So this last little guy right here, if real 1 equals real 2, do 2 match. Be like, well, okay. It could still do a 3 match, which is why once we go over here, if real 1 equals real 3, then do 3 match. Then break. Else do nothing and continue, which means it will do that. Hey, you got 2 of them right. And then it will end the spin. Inside the end spin, it'll say we actually can get rid of this. Delete that message. And I think we'll have to run it. I'll have to double check this delay. But it should be fine. And this is just going to run the nested scene to hide it and to reset the reels and to give you the proper time.
And as per usual, it didn't work.
Okay, so when... Let me fix this. So begin spin. Let's follow what's happening. If reel 1 equals reel 2, do 2 match, then break. Else... Oh, do no match, then break. Oh, we didn't set up the actions for what's in no match. Oh no, I deleted my thing. Crap. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. We also need to do the hidden, right? Or it just runs the in spin, right? Yeah, we're just running in spin. So I just forgot to put this in here. So it's user got, and it was like percent real 1, percent real 2, percent real 3, percent. Better luck next time. Spear, RPG. Better luck next time. And then it will make it go away. Huzzah! There, I've built another working slot machine. And I've got somewhat of a tutorial on how to do it. 3 RPGs in a row. We're gonna make it fit into a less than 30-minute YouTube video. I promise. Because I get distracted a lot. A lot. Also, let me go fix this audio group real quick.